Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a monumental stack of sources, articles, research papers, psychological studies, and distill it all down to the most critical, actionable nuggets for you.
Right.
Today, we are focused entirely on the future. We're giving you the blueprint for what we're calling success in 2026.
And, we found that the core message buried in literally hundreds of pages of material is, well, refreshingly simple. Most people assume that success is tied to innate talent or maybe exceptional luck or discovering some kind of complex hidden strategy.
The secret formula.
Exactly. But what the data actually reveals is that success is purely the cumulative result of small, consistent habits. It's the micro actions you perform every single day.
Yeah, people think they need a radical life overhaul, like a mountain to climb. But our sources show you only need a handful of strong daily foundations.
That's it.
So our mission today is to give you the ultimate shortcut. 10 specific, powerful habits that anyone can implement starting now. We want to make sure that as you move into the new year, you stop, reacting to the world's demands and start proactively choosing the direction of your life.
And we've organized these 10 habits logically. We're moving from establishing a mental base to fueling growth, and then finally to sustaining that momentum. It's a complete system ready for you to deploy.
Okay, let's unpack this and establish that daily foundation. Habit number 1. This is the absolute starting point, and it's deceptively simple. Start your day with 10 minutes of clarity.
The sources really drill down on the mechanism here. This isn't about hitting snooze and scrolling Twitter.
Guilty.
We all are. But this is a mandatory ritual that dictates the flow of the next, 16 hours? The key instruction is subtraction. No phone, no messages, no noise.
Okay, I think the no phone part is the hardest wall to build. Why is that 10 minutes of silence so fundamentally important? I mean, why not just, meditate later in the day?
What's fascinating here is the concept of intentionality versus reactivity. When you immediately check your phone, you are subjecting your mind to the priorities, anxieties, and, frankly, the demands of other people.
All right, you're starting on defense.
Exactly. You're starting the day defensively. That 10 minutes just sitting, breathing, thinking, it's an act of mental triage. It lets you choose your emotional and operational starting point for the day.
That phrase, operational management, really stood out in the sources. What does that actually look like in, just 10 minutes?
It's clearing the mental runway. You ask yourself 2 really powerful questions. What do I want today to feel like? That's your emotional intent. And what do I really need to focus on? That process shifts your brain from a state of chaotic reaction to centered, deliberate action. It defines success for that day, and it primes your mind for the next habit.
Which is habit 2. Set one clear, important goal each day.
And this is a direct counter to the modern plague of busyness. We fill our list with 10 things, we start 8, and because we never apply leveraged focus, we finish none of the things that truly matter.
Right. And the result is just stagnation disguised as hard work.
Exactly. Chronic stagnation.
I agree with the goal setting, but honestly, setting only one clear goal feels so counterintuitive in a fast-paced career. Doesn't that risk missing opportunities or, neglecting all the smaller necessary tasks? How did the sources justify this extreme focus?
They justify it with overwhelming evidence of cumulative impact. The sources emphasize that this one goal has to be the most important action, the single thing that, if you complete it, makes everything else easier or just unnecessary.
So it's about finding the critical path.
It's all about identifying that critical path. If you let yourself get pulled by all the smaller tasks, you deplete the mental energy you need for that one leveraged action.
So it's not about checking off 20 easy things. It's about doing the one thing that truly moves your life or career forward. And the long-term impact is. It's staggering.
It is. If we look at the statistical insight from our material, by focusing and executing on that one critical action daily, you end the year having completed 365 important actions. That compounding over time is what separates the average from the truly unstoppable. It's a definition of success based on impact, not mere activity.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we've managed the mental side with clarity and focus, the sources insist we need to feed and fuel that effort. What's next?
The first resource is intellectual. Habit number 3 is simple, but so critical. Read something every day.
This sounds almost too obvious, but the low barrier to entry is key, right? We're not talking about reading Tolstoy before breakfast.
No, not at all. We're talking 10 to 15 minutes a day.
Just 15 minutes.
Precisely. The goal isn't volume, it's consistency and exposure. Reading provides constant new ideas, solutions, and most importantly, different mental models. It keeps the mind plastic and actively growing. The insight we saw repeated was that successful people aren't necessarily born smarter, they just maintain the habit of continuous learning. And reading is the most reliable, cheapest, and simplest way to guarantee that growth. It fuels confidence because you always feel like you're generating new input.
I think the challenge for most people is consistency. Where do you wedge in 15 minutes?
Well, the sources suggest tying it to an existing habit, which psychologists call habit stacking.
Oh, right.
So you could read during your 10 minutes of clarity, read on your lunch break, or maybe swap 15 minutes of evening screen time for a book. The critical factor is making the time non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth.
That focus on mental inputs ties directly into the next habit, which is about external factors. Habit number 4, protect your environment. I think we dramatically underestimate how much our surroundings dictate our internal state.
That's the core idea. Your environment is the silent architect of your energy. The source material tied this directly to the concept of cognitive load. It shows that visual clutter in your physical space consumes precious mental bandwidth, even if you're not actively looking at it.
So a messy room leads to a messy mind because your brain is constantly processing that underlying chaos.
Exactly. And that principle extends beyond the physical space. If your social circle is consistently negative or critical or just draining, that negativity becomes the default emotional state of your environment. It just kills motivation. If your workspace lacks the tools you need, you introduce friction to every single task.
So protecting your environment means protecting your physical space, your social circle, and fiercely protecting your peace. If you design your environment to be supportive, success stops feeling like this grueling struggle.
Then it starts feeling like a natural flow.
Right, because you've removed all that unnecessary friction.
And once you've built that supportive external environment, you need to commit to building your internal resources. That brings us to habit 5. Learn one high-value skill in 2026.
This is such a powerful mandate for focus. It counters the overwhelming pressure we feel to master everything immediately. The advice is highly specific. Focus on mastering just one skill that makes you more valuable.
The magic is in the commitment to singularity. Don't spread yourself thin across 5 different areas. Choose one skill that increases your leverage and commit to studying it, practicing it, applying it for the full 365 days.
What were some of the best examples of these high-value skills the sources recommended?
The lists are wide-ranging, but the ones with the highest return on investment include things like advanced communication and persuasion, high-quality writing, data analysis, sales, financial literacy, or maybe specific as software coding or design skills.
Really tangible stuff.
Very tangible, or even highly specialized problem-solving techniques relevant to your industry.
That's a strategic investment. That single concentrated skill mastered over a year could be the pivot point that genuinely changes your income, your opportunities, and your entire career trajectory. It becomes an asset you carry with you. Now we shift gears a little. We've managed the mind. We've fueled our growth. The next set of habits focuses on execution and maintenance. Habit 6 is often the one people dread the most. Track your money every week.
This is a non-negotiable pillar of lasting success. It goes back to the core idea that success isn't just about earning more. It's about effectively managing what you already have.
Right.
Money grows fastest when you give it consistent attention.
That's a tough habit, though, because for most people, money is tied to massive anxiety and emotional resistance. We avoid checking our balance because we're afraid of what we'll find. What specific tool did the sources suggest to overcome that barrier?
They focused on a low-friction, ritualized weekly check-in, maybe on a Sunday. That lasts only 5 minutes. It's not about crunching complex spreadsheets.
It's 5 minutes.
That's it. It's about asking 4 simple, unavoidable questions. How much did I spend? How much did I save? Where did the money actually go? And am I on track for my monthly goal?
That ritual is about gaining control, which is the opposite of anxiety. Most people avoid finances because they're uncomfortable, but successful people seek out that discomfort because it gives them mastery.
Exactly. Mastery and the ability to course correct before a small problem becomes a huge one. And that mastery requires energy, which brings us right into habit 7.
Yeah.
Move your body daily even for 10 minutes.
Ah, yes.
You simply cannot sustain high-level performance and success if you are running on low physical and mental energy.
I love that the sources emphasize the low barrier to entry here. You don't need to train for a triathlon. Movement doesn't need a marathon or a gym membership. It just needs to be simple, consistent daily activity.
And what our sources repeatedly showed is that the key to habit 7 isn't duration, it's interruption. It's about breaking sedentary periods. That 10 minutes acts as a physical circuit breaker for mental fatigue.
So things like a quick walk, dynamic stretching, a few push-ups.
Simple things. They're more than sufficient.
And the internal benefits are instantaneous, right? Moving your body stabilizes emotions, releases stress, clarifies the mind, and just naturally increases motivation for everything else. It's an essential part of the system.
It is. And moving from physical energy to mental energy, Habit 8 is perhaps the most crucial battleground in 2026. Limit distractions.
The challenge here is immense. I mean, every year we get more apps, more notifications, more forces actively fighting for our attention. So the core truth is this: your success will depend entirely on your ability to focus.
To protect that focus, we can't passively hope for it. We have to build walls around it. The sources provided 4 non-negotiable rules for managing the modern technological environment.
These rules sound intense, but I suppose if the stakes are high, the rules have to be strict. What are those 4 walls?
Okay, first, no phone for the first hour after waking. Protect that 10 minutes of clarity in your morning.
Got it.
Second, no phone for the last hour before sleeping. This ensures quality rest and allows your mind to process the day instead of being overstimulated. Third, keep notifications off for most of the day. Notifications are simply permission for other people to interrupt your highest value work.
And the 4th rule?
Create phone-free focus times. Dedicated blocks of 90 minutes or 2 hours where the phone is physically out of sight, ensuring you can accomplish that one important goal you set. The world is loud. Success requires quiet. You have to eliminate what psychologists call attention residue, that lingering mental drain from switching tasks.
That brings us to the final 2 habits, which are all about maintaining momentum for the long haul and avoiding that burnout cycle. Habit 9 addresses the inescapable reality of failure. Practice consistency, not perfection.
This habit is so vital because perfectionism is often the enemy of progress. You're going to have days where you're tired, you're unmotivated, or you just drop the ball entirely.
Oh, for sure.
You miss the gym, you skip the reading, you let the clutter build up.
And we tend to let that failure derail the whole system. We think, well, I messed up Tuesday, so I might as well wait until next Monday to start again.
Yes. But consistency means returning to the habit the very next day, regardless of yesterday's failure. The mindset is, a bad day doesn't negate the system. Small steps repeated daily will always beat big steps taken once in a while. Focus on building habits you can maintain even on your worst days, not habits that require impossible effort and lead to mid-February burnout.
Showing up again and again, especially when you don't feel like it, that is the true metric. But how do you make sure that consistency leads to actual improvement and not just, repeating the same mistakes?
That is the essential feedback loop provided by our final habit, Habit 10. Reflect every week.
This means dedicating a specific, quiet moment, often on a Sunday, to convert experience into wisdom. It requires a set of powerful, clarifying questions.
Exactly. Don't let your weeks just blur together. Take the time to genuinely ask, what did I do well this week? What truly challenged me or threw me off course?
What did I learn from those challenges?
And most importantly, what can I actively and tangibly improve next week?
Without this routine pause, the source material suggests you're destined to repeat those mistakes because you never formally processed the data.
Reflection is the engine that sharpens your learning curve dramatically. It ensures that every action, even the failures, moves you consciously in the right direction.
That concludes our deep dive into the blueprint for 2026. The overarching message as we wrap up is clear. Success is not about working nonstop or chasing 100 ambitious goals or waiting for a lucky break. It's about the deliberate cultivation of these 10 small, simple habits that collectively build a stronger, more capable version of yourself.
And we really encourage you to start small. Don't try to implement all 10 tomorrow. Pick one. Perhaps the 10 minutes of clarity to manage your mental state, or the weekly money check-in to manage your resources. Start there.
Just one.
Only once that habit feels automatic and loose friction, then you add the next one. This is how lasting change is built.
So, what does this all mean? If you commit to this framework, a year from now, the biggest realization won't just be that you became more professionally or financially successful. although you almost certainly will be.
The biggest realization will be that you became more self-aware, more confident, more focused, and fundamentally more in control of your life. You are not waiting for luck. You are actively building your future, one consistent habit at a time. Thank you for diving deep with us.